What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? This is Ronnie, everybody's favorite reseller. Probably not, but hey, I could talk that shit, right? But just here making a video. I have a bunch of videos that I've gotten saved up and made, and ones that people have requested over time. So I'll be putting out more videos over time here in the next, probably starting in June, so I can be more consistent. So if I have a lot of videos in the backlog, I'm not really running around trying to cut my head off. Wait, hold on. Wait, that's not how it's said, right? Running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to make videos. So hopefully I can be more consistent, like come to a schedule, something I probably should have done over my like 12-13 years of making videos. You'd think I would figure this out by now, but I don't. But if you guys have missed me, I've been through a lot the last few months. So hey, my father passed away in March. Then I wound up in the hospital for a few weeks with heart failure. So doing well. I've had a lot of doctor's appointments lately. Been losing weight. Been just doing well. Heart failure, nothing due to anything other than retaining water, wrecking a havoc, retaining liquid, I guess, not water. I'm not a dam. So retaining liquids in my body, and this is like an issue I've had for a while. Like I retain it in my legs and stuff, and I've had like multiple appointments with certain doctors, like leg doctors, had ultrasounds done on my leg, trying to figure out like why are we having these issues. And I wind up needing to be in the hospital for them to figure out and do like an MRI and all this stuff. Like but there's no, all my arteries are good, there's no clots or anything. That was like their big thing when I first went to the hospital. Cape Cod Hospital was like, hey, you got blood clots in your lungs. And then went to Boston and they were like saying the same thing, and then all of a sudden like a few days later they're like, oh, that's not it, that's not it, that's not it. Who the hell is yelling? Stupid people. Figure I had a nice location and people are yelling and screaming. I'm gonna get out of the car and beat somebody's ass. But before we get sidetracked, so I've been just hustling along, plugging away on eBay, doing what I do. I gave up everything else, back focusing on eBay, doing what I do, and it's what I enjoy doing. You know, oh my God. All right, now that I got that out of the way, freaking kids are driving me crazy. A bunch of kids that are making too much noise. I keep seeing more of them. I don't know what they're doing at this park. You can tell they're definitely like high school age kids, like probably early high school age, but pain in my ass. They're loud. So I closed my sunroof. Hopefully that drown out the noise that they're making. Freaking mosquito. But anyway, I don't know where I was at now, what I'm talking about. But anyway, make a long story short, I've been back on eBay, and I've been, for whatever reason, I don't know if I've been getting more videos lately or not, but I mean more views on my videos for some reason. Somebody said something, but I've been getting a bunch of messages. Some come through Instagram, some are on my videos, and a lot of it's because I have a smaller inventory now. Most of you know I've ramped up my eBay inventory to about 400 items currently. I think I'm going to probably be up over 500. I'm trying different things, and I'm selling the same stuff, but I'm trying different things within what I'm selling, focusing maybe on a little bit more. I focus on what I get in hand. I still sell men's clothing, mostly dress wear, like suits, ties, sport coats, jackets, pants, that kind of thing. Occasionally shoes, but I rarely come across shoes all that often. Still dabbling in retail arbitrage, which is going to stores like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, Burlington Coat Factory, and finding things to resell from there. You know, certain things are overlooked. I did get a lot of stuff from like Marshalls and TJ Maxx. Their semi-annual clearance yellow tags that everybody talks about just before I actually went into the hospital. So I didn't even get some of that stuff listed till like a few weeks ago, and some of it I just listed the other week. Like, my main thing is trying to focus on things. I just lose focus. I'm still doing, on average, probably between $8,000 and $10,000 a month in sales, which is good. There's a few sports cards, baseball trading cards, or whatever you want to call them, mixed in there, but a lot of it is clothing. And people tell me all the time, "Oh, have you seen a slowdown in clothing? Clothing's not what it used to be." I haven't. I have a smaller inventory and still doing the same amount that I've always had. Now, I should be doing a lot better. I should be doing a huge amount more, but I've had little issues here and there. Like when I had my warehouse from 2014 to 2016 were probably my best years. Me and my wife at the time, I don't know, we don't need to talk about her, but we were doing really good. And at some point we were up to doing about a 250,000 a year in sales on eBay and Amazon, because back then I was doing a lot of Amazon stuff, and I was almost matching what I was doing on eBay and Amazon. I think that year I did almost 130 or 120 something thousand on eBay. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know our slowest month was like 8,700, and our best month that year was like 14,300, I think. And then I was doing over $10,000 a month on Amazon, but then I ran into some issues with Amazon, so I cut back on Amazon. Like, I know they wanted me to get insurance at a point in time, and I couldn't really find a cheap enough thing to do for insurance at the time. This damn mosquito, I'm trying to wait till it gets kind of close to me to kill that damn thing. It's moving around pretty good. But got him. But ew, gotta wash my hand. I'll worry about that later. But this video is gonna be ridiculous. But we live, we cut, no editing. But you just go through the motions sometimes, and you just do things. I should have bought our warehouse. It came up for sale. Our landlord at the time didn't want it. He wanted to sell the one next to us, and I didn't really realize kind of the money he was asking for. He was asking, I think, $150, and it was $150 for that unit, $150 for the other unit. So if we bought both units, we would have had probably 11. It would have probably been, I think, 22 or 2,400 square feet. I forgot if it was 1,100 or 1,200 square feet, the space. So we could have really expanded and did more. I could have put the bathroom in that I wanted, because if that was a big issue. Didn't have a bathroom. Don't get warehouse space that doesn't have a bathroom. I didn't think it was that bad because it was kind of close to the house. But it would have been driving me crazy now, because a lot of the medication I have makes me pee like crazy. So that would have drove me crazy. But I probably would have done a lot better. The things that would have been done, because moving back to the house for a while, then the pandemic came, and then I moved into an office space, but I didn't really read the room and realize my wife didn't want no more part of reselling, and I kind of misread that judgment. Because for me to pick up the slack and kind of do it on my own, and now deal with more expense, when you all of a sudden carve out like a $2,000 extra expense. Now, this was for the office that we got right after the pandemic. It was kind of like, what are you doing? And then we just got, it's weird because the lady kept on going up in price. We knew eventually we got in at like one price, and I knew it was going to go up a little bit. But when we were trying to sign for the 3rd year, she wanted to go up like incredible amount that I just wasn't making it to go up, and I felt like she was kind of taking advantage of the situation. Like, and the sad part is, like, she kind of, she knew our neighbor, she knew my landlord for many years, so it's like, people. My wife used to work with her brother, sister-in-law at the airport, because she was like in charge of the whole airport. So it was like, come on, man, it's like, and we're doing good, we're paying you on time and all this, but you keep going up in this price. Like, greed sometimes gets a hold of people. And what happened, I drive by that space every few days because it's close to the Goodwill. Still for rent. Almost 2 years later. Like, if you didn't raise the rent, I probably would have stuck it out. I probably would have figured it out. Instead, I got sidetracked, and then I thought I needed to do something else, because I got really burnt out. When I left that space, I was really like deflated. Like, I was pissed off that I had to give up that space, but it is what it is. I've had my own hiccups. So now, rebuilding, since I'm at home and I use only a spare bedroom for storage and for taking pictures, and my office is kept in the dining room, where I don't have a kitchen table. I have, a regular, whatever you call it, like a folding table, and my stuff's there. That's where I do the listings. I have to kind of come up with a better, probably a better system of going through and making listings and then taking pictures, as I do everything now alone. But for the most part, it's still good. I still find all my stuff, majority of it's at 2 local Goodwill and the Salvation Army. Mostly just the Goodwill. A few different little church thrift stores here and there, and I still find a lot of stuff. There is one store that some lady does consignment, and it's off Cape though, and it's about 45 minutes away. But as they rotate through stuff, they get rid of a lot of stuff just doesn't sell. I can get that stuff, and a lot of it's good stuff, but I have to pay up. It'll be like a Brioni suit or newer tags. Some of it's newer tags, like stuff that for whatever reason they just don't sell it. And instead of them getting rid of it, because I think they do like a thing where it goes to half off, and she'll be like, hey, we're gonna mark a bunch of this stuff down if you want to buy it at a certain price. It's not on my route anymore, but I know of the lady for so long, and she used to watch my videos. She used to own an estate sale company. They do consignment now. She used to sell on eBay. She doesn't anymore. A lot of people get out of it because they just can't deal with eBay, or they don't want to deal with eBay. Technically, eBay has its own things. You see people all the time come and go with eBay. But with that being said, I can get a lot of stuff, not a lot of stuff, but I get enough quality stuff, I should say, that keeps my ASP up around $100 most of the time. It might be down a little bit, because I was getting a lot of ties, like bagfuls of ties, like 10-20 pound bags. I'd go through it and search the ties I wanted, and then I sell the ties to a lady locally to me that does crafts for $1 a tie that I don't use. So it's a win-win for me in a way. That way, I think she's not going to buy any ties from me, because last time she told me she has more than enough for a while. So I may have to hold on to some, or I may just get rid of them. It's ties. I'm not going to be one of these people that makes these groups 20 ties for $20 on eBay. That's just a waste of time for me. And I'm afraid that if I sell them in one thing, someone's going to throw them and want to return them because they didn't get the return of ties they wanted or anything like that. But anyway, make a long story short, so that's how eBay's been pretty good to me. I don't know how it's going to be during the summer, but we'll find out. But a lot of people have been contacting me, and I've been going over their stores, and one of the things I've realized is that people just need to stop comparing themselves to others. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to any reseller doing more than me. Don't compare yourself to anybody. Like, you have to be worried about your own self. You shouldn't be comparing yourself, because what we find, where we're at in the country, all plays into this. How our buy costs. Like, if you're buying stuff at the bins, you can get up a lot of different stuff than me. And I see a lot of these resellers now. I glance at a few videos here and there, these newer resellers that have come on in the last few years. I really haven't paid attention, but a lot of them it's like the race to the bottom pickers, or flippers I should call them, because that's all they want to seem to do. They want to get something and they're like, oh, I want to sell it fast because I don't want to hold on to it. But there's certain pieces that you should hold out for, and there's certain pieces that you should just flip through and move on from pretty quickly. And another thing, like, I've noticed, like, people with these if you're gonna have high 4 and 5 day, 3 to 5 day handling time on your orders, you're probably not gonna have the same amount of sales as somebody else. They have no returns. There's no measurements in their listings. They still have capitalized titles. Their pricing is all wrong and best offer. Like, that doesn't really work anymore. Every once in a while you have to go through and you have to just, like, gut either your eBay store, gut your listings. I know it takes time, but it's like taking it, like, if like going into a regular store in your town selling clothes, guess what? They get rid of stuff every season. They get rid of what's not selling. It goes on clearance. They don't sell it. Some people, save stuff for certain times a year. I don't. I list it when I get it, because I'm not, like, getting a lot of stuff. So there's a lot there. And even people will compare and be like, oh, you find some crazy things where you are. It's like, if you're thrifting, I would say on the East Coast, and mostly, I'll say in the Northeast, from like the DC area, or even like Richmond up through like Portland, Maine, you will find just crazy things. Like, or just, you'll find a lot of the higher end stuff, because the population here is just, there's a population. It's one of the more busier probably areas if you go by cities. New York, parts of New Jersey, Philadelphia, Washington DC, you have Baltimore. Maryland's like a very pricey area if you ever looked into it. I mean, and that's the thing, like, a lot of people like, oh, you live in Boston, or live outside of Boston, that's a great area to thrift. But it's like, we have I think, like, our rents now are the highest in the country, which is ridiculous. I can tell you, the people above me, because my friend redid that apartment, they decided to rent it instead of selling and flipping it, and they rent it. It's 2-bedroom, 2-bath, about 880 square feet. It's on the second floor, and we're not in, like, I don't live in like the greater area. I live in, like, if there's a ghetto on Cape Cod, I live in it. I live in the hood of Cape Cod, and it is basically almost $3,000 a month. They build these new apartments, like 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartments, kind of close to us. They've been putting up a lot of apartment buildings in the Hyannis area now. But even that, it's like $4,200, I think. It's like, oh, like, it has gotten so expensive. And you look at our price of fuel is higher than, and like, everything on the Cape is more expensive than off the Cape. So we live in one of the higher, more expensive areas. So yeah, you do find things, but you pay for that. Also, like, I'm ready to move to Pennsylvania somewhere and just travel up and down the corridor and go home and list, or find some way to do that, because Pennsylvania is kind of cheap, last I remembered. As we're not cheap. Nothing here is cheap. So these people, if you're going to complain about what I pick up and say, oh, I can't find that where I am, like, you shouldn't be comparing. You shouldn't compare. Two different areas. Living in Huntsville, Alabama, and living where I am, or you're living, there's certain areas where you could definitely find that kind of stuff. I would say, most major cities are probably going to find good stuff. I've been up and down. People say they can't find stuff in Orlando. I didn't live in Orlando. We used to go to Orlando a lot, and I found stuff all the time in Orlando. Found stuff in Tampa, stuff in Savannah, Georgia, in the Carolinas, in Virginia. Like, stuff is there. I went all the way to Chicago and Cincinnati and found stuff, and stuff is there. Just, everybody wants to make excuses. We're not making excuses for anybody over here. And stop just comparing yourself. Like, a lot of people compared, or I heard this the other day. Somebody messaged me and they said, oh, you're friendly with Tekken Sport. What's the deal with him? He makes it look easy that he was doing millions of dollars in sales. And I'm like, I don't know how listing and finding 100 items a day or 150 items a day is easy. Like, I don't know how you make that look easy. You don't. Your perception of it is it's easy, but nobody ever says it's easy. Nobody. I mean, that boy listed more in 2 days than what I list probably in a year at this point, or in a week. What I list in a year, he lists in a week. And then I wonder why I'm not making anywhere close to what anybody else makes. And you're looking at like the best or the biggest pre-owned reseller of most items. Like, there's no comparison. Like, there's things that are set up to that. So when people message me and tell me that, I'm like, I shake my head, because it's like, why are you comparing yourself to somebody else? Why? There should be no reason to compare yourself to anybody else. Be yourself. Be you. Most resellers are not getting rich off of reselling, but you can subsidize your income pretty nicely, and invest in certain things. Don't do what I did and do nothing. All right, boys and girls. But anyway, this rant went on. This wasn't no damn rant. This thing went off the rails pretty easy, but I'm probably the realest reseller, and I'm gonna tell you the truth about a lot of this shit. So stay tuned. Videos will be coming out shortly, probably in about 3 weeks. They'll be rolling out probably 2 or 3 times a week. I'll come up with a schedule and everything. So I'll see you guys soon. So I've been gone, but I had to. So if you want to take advice on clothing from a guy that looks like he cuts trees down for a living, or could play extra Santa in the mall at Christmas time, I'm your man. I'll see you guys later. Adios, amigos.